Pixel 11 Pro costs as much as the iPhone 17 Pro, which begs the question, does it offer the same value? The short answer is almost. There are things that the Pixel does better, but there is also one major drawback. Both phones are in a more compact category and weight slightly more than 200 grams, which is about 7.2 ounces. They both offer MagSafe backs and rather big camera bump. In that bump, there is a triple camera setup. iPhone also has two more hardware features. One is the camera button that I rarely use. The other is the action button, which is very useful for me when I try to silence my phone. They have a 6.3-inch display with a similar resolution. In theory, Pixel gets brighter, but at this point, it is barely noticeable even under direct sunlight. The iPhone is also supposed to be more anti-reflective, but it is not strong enough to make it a deciding factor. Maybe the most important difference for the display is the iPhone having the dynamic island for face unlock, while Pixel has an under-display fingerprint scanner. As I mentioned, they both have three cameras. Starting with the main lens, at least on paper, they offer similar hardware. Looking at this picture, you can see the color science is very different though. The iPhone has muted colors, while Pixel is more saturated with a warmer tone. The amount of background blur is similar since the sensor size is almost the same. Also, Pixel, as always, has more magenta in the white balance. For my skin tone, the iPhone has a tad of a green in it, while Pixel is more processed and has an orange tint. Generally, in the default mode, expect more vibrant colors on Pixel compared to iPhone. For this indoor shot, on the other hand, the iPhone has a warmer tone and didn't take a nice photo. I prefer the more natural tone on Pixel. On this portrait shot, I found iPhone creates a better background blur. If you zoom in on the Pixel, you can see the hair processing is not great. Pixel 11 Pro's main advantage over iPhone 17 Pro is the great telephoto sensor. If you put them next to each other, you can see how much larger the Pixel sensor is, which leads to gathering more light. As you can see in this picture at 5x zoom, the Pixel not only has stronger background blur, but also higher optical quality. The iPhone has to do lots of sharpening since the sensor can't provide a nice dynamic range. Zooming further to 10x, Pixel shows its advantage even more with a higher quality. Also, Pixel can zoom up to 120 times, but there is an important caveat. The photos get reconstructed by generative AI, and it is not 100% real. Pixel also has a better ultrawide camera with a lower aperture, and it does take better photos. Especially in low light, you can see Maria's face looks better on Pixel with the ultrawide, and also the white balance is nailed on the Pixel compared to the iPhone. Pixel has a higher resolution selfie camera too. It is a 42 megapixel one compared to iPhone's 18 megapixel. In a normal shot like this one, I personally prefer the Pixel shot. Maria also preferred this. Both of them offer a very wide focal length, which is great for fitting more people into the frame. With iPhone, you can also take horizontal selfies, which is amazing. For night photos, Pixel does more processing, but also offers better quality. iPhone uses less AI, but at the same time, the photos don't turn out great. For video with the main lens, I personally prefer iPhone. I find Pixel doesn't find the right white balance most of the time. Video on the telephoto camera is a different story. Pixel doesn't nail the white balance, but offers superior optical quality and a stronger background blur. Especially if we use video boost for Pixel, like I did here, the quality can be instantly improved and the colors are natural. Pixel still doesn't offer 120 frames per second at 4K, which is honestly a shame. So if you're into slow motion, get an iPhone or any other flagship phone. For night video, neither does a great job, but Pixel at least is not laggy. Pixel also offers a new mode next to the video and photo modes called Magic Capture. It makes a video and automatically picks high quality photos. I would use this mode if, for example, I want to take photos of a dancing scene or a sport event. Pixel now also offers more color profiles next to the default mode, but iPhone has already been doing it for a few years. Battery life is one of the other important factors when deciding to get a new phone, and here Pixel also did an amazing job. I did a day in the life battery test by taking photos, using Google Meet and watching YouTube on both phones on 5G, and by the end of the day, iPhone 17 Pro had 19% battery left, while Pixel had 21%. Pixel did achieve this with a 20% larger battery capacity, which indicates lower efficiency. Both phones use in-house chipsets. The Pixel is sporting the Sensor G6, while the iPhone is sporting the A19 Pro. On Geekbench, in single-core, Pixel got almost half the score of the iPhone, while in multi-core it was closer. The GPU performance on the Pixel is horrible though, and lots of people have reported serious gaming performance issues. In the 3D Mark Wildlife Extreme test, Pixel got 3,376, while iPhone got 5,690. That's an average of 20 frames per second compared to the 34 frames per second, which is a bit sad for Pixel. But at the end of the day, both phones do offer really good performance when it comes to daily tasks, as long as your task doesn't require focusing on the graphic unit. For me personally, the question of whether you should go for iPhone or Pixel boils down to whether you prefer iOS or Android. iOS has this liquid glass design with things being transparent and having a glassy look, as the name suggests. Android 17 has a more classic look and, from my experience, gives more options and features. I'll give you two examples. One is that on Pixel or any Android phone, you have something called a clipboard. That means when you copy text, an image, or a link, it stays in the memory of your phone and you can use it later on your keyboard. The second feature I really like on the new Pixel phones is live translation. If you are watching YouTube or doing anything on your phone and you need to have a transcript or translation, you can simply turn this on by clicking the volume rockers. Both phones are also focusing a lot on AI. For example, you can hold the power button on either to communicate with Gemini or Apple Intelligence. On the Pixel 11 Pro, there is also a dedicated light on the back called Highlight, which becomes colorful when you are communicating with Gemini, but this only works when your phone is facing down. Overall, Pixel 11 Pro is a very decent phone. It does have better camera hardware than the iPhone, it offers the same battery life, it looks great and modern, and has an amazing display. Google also always keeps the Pixel lineup updated with the new features, and now you can also airdrop from Pixel to your Mac. iPhone is a classic choice and does everything that Pixel does. Plus, the chipset gives you more flexibility in how you use your phone, like video editing and gaming. If you want to see how Pixel 11 Pro also compares to the Galaxy S26 Ultra, you can watch this video next. Thanks for tuning in to Tecmo, and I will see you in the next one.